Hello. In this clip from our Justia webinar dedicated to fundamentals on citation and link building, we will discuss when you can expect Google to give full value to your links, the value of the links based on where they are located on the website pages, and we will talk about subdomains, subfolders, and separate domains. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
All right, let's just talk a little bit about links themselves. All right. So you have a site, you have links coming into the site. You hear a lot of folks, though, talk about a brand new site faces a sandbox. Like you can't rank in Google, right? Because there's a sandbox effect. What do they say? Well, it's a brand new, you can't rank. You're gonna have to wait a year. Well, really, there's not a sandbox so much for your website. That's not really true. It's not, you could rank the next day if you had enough links coming in to you. But there is a sandbox for the links. So Google is not going to give you the full value of a link right away. They are going to make you wait. You get a link, an external link that comes into your website, it might give you 20% of the value of that link. But you're going to have to, but not 100%. You're going to have to wait, 8 months, a year before Google makes sure that link's a real editorial link, it's stable, it's going to stay there, and then they'll give you the full value. So a lot of times we hear about the sandbox, what we really mean is that even if you get linked up, it's going to take some time. So if you do a brand new website, right? This is what Google sees. They see nothing. Put a little picture there. So a little tiny picture of you, right? But really, when you put a new website, Google doesn't see anything because you put the website up, you don't have any links to it, right? Google doesn't even know it. Now you can put the website up and then you can submit your your sitemap, your XML sitemap to Google. They'll start indexing it, but there's no links. They're not really going to rank it at all. It's just there. When you initially put it up though without anything, you're up, but you don't exist to Google. And then you say, well, I'm going to go out and I'll get some links, right? I'm going to get some links to my site. And I get links, and these guys are already linking to each other. I'm going to get these links to the site. And Google will initially give you a little bit of value for those links, right? Just a little bit. And then a little bit more. And then a little bit more. And eventually you get the full value of the links. So again, every single time you get a link from someplace, you'll initially get a little bit of value, but you've got to wait a while to get the full value of that link. So when you're doing link building, don't expect miracles to happen like the next week, next month. You're really looking 8 months to a year to get the full value there. You get a little bit. If you do lots of link building, I don't know if you can do lots of link building without spamming things, but maybe it's possible. Then it's, you might start ranking a bit higher right away. But normally it takes a little bit of time. People do the link building and then you just have to wait a little bit. The same is going to be true with you if you go out, grab all these lawyer directories, right? And update all those lawyer directories. You're going to have to wait a little bit to get the full value of them. Or the business directories, right? You should do it now and just realize it might take a little bit of time. So it just takes time. It's just, otherwise people would go out, they'd get links, right before the holiday season and Christmas and everybody's shopping. Sites would show up high and then they'd get rid of the links right after. And they don't want stuff like that happening. So they want to make sure that these are real links and they're stable over time. So that's a general thing. Is it always 8 months? No, there are probably some sites they give it right away. Some other sites, they make you wait a bit. It's not, there's no real hard and fast rule here, but normally 8 months to a year for most links that you get. Okay. Now we're just going to cover some other sort of basic things, which should be somewhat obvious here. Links per site. All things being equal, right? I would rather, and say site 2 links to these two, and site 1 links to this one, and site 2 links to site B twice. I would rather have 2 links from 2 different sites than 2 links from the same site, right? Seems straightforward. The second link is not worth as much as the first link. That first link is worth quite a bit when you get a link from a website. The second link, not worth nearly as much. The third link, not worth nearly as much. The 10th link, the 100th link, get the idea. The discounts out really quickly. They're going from 0 to 1, sort of the Peter Thiel type of thing. 0 to 1, worth a lot. Going from 10,000 to 10,001, meaningless. Just doesn't matter. So this is just something to note. You'd like to have links from different websites rather than getting a bunch of links from one. Now, there are situations if things aren't all equal. Let's say, site 2 is a lot stronger than site 1. Yeah, then the second link from site 2 might be worth more than site 1. Okay, I get that. All right, that's a super strong site. New York Times versus, Joe's homepage. But eventually the links start getting weaker and weaker in terms of what's coming over to you. So it's just something to note on it. If you'd like to get links from different sites, it should be pretty obvious. And the links not decay. The links are worth, the second, third link, they're worth less over time. All right, so that's basic stuff. Second item, you might have a link, to page 1, page 2. The other link, each link to page 1. The second one, this one site has a link to page 2. This other one has 2 links to page 1. In general, you're better off having a 1 link going to page 1 and 1 link going to page 2 rather than having 2 links go to the same page, or than a second link going to page 1. So like in our case, we have, links from New York Times. We have, often they're going to different pages on our site. Now, if they always went to Justia's homepage, the value would be really decay quite a bit faster. But by having links going to different pages on the site, it keeps more of the value. It's not treated as a brand new link from the domain's already seen a link from that site, but it's going to a different page. So it really helps that other page out quite a bit. This is something for you to note when you are blogging, right? If you're blogging, especially on a different domain, you should link to different pages of your site. Don't keep linking to the same page over and over again. We get it. It's a car accident page. You've linked to it 50 times. Maybe link distracted driving to distracted driving, highway design to your highway design page. Break it up a bit. Don't keep linking to the same page over and over and over again. It's not helping you more. So that's, if you want to increase the value of your links, this is the way sort of have it to go. Link to different pages on your site. This is true within your own site as well, right? You'll have enough navigation of different things, but you should link to different pages. It actually helps you more than linking to the same page over and over and over again. Again, don't forget, different text to different pages. Don't use the same page, the same text to different pages, as presented earlier. Okay, this is basic stuff, authority. This is, straightforward stuff, nothing fancy here. If I have a site, right, I have a higher value site, site A, links to site alpha. Site A is stronger, site alpha will be stronger. Site B is stronger, site B will be, those types of links. That's basic stuff. The same also applies to pages. Some of your pages are more authoritative pages than other pages, and you can actually get more value when you link from those pages. So here, if I have page A and page B from the same website, link from page A be worth more than a link from page B. For most law firms, their authoritative pages, which tend to be produced to a large extent by how the outside links are coming in, but not always, tend to be your homepage and your blog. So those tend to be the ones that hit the most authoritative. They have the most sort of links coming into the most authoritative ones they're seeing. They have both internal links as well as external links coming in. The one other page that we always put in, so we always keep ourselves within 2 links off the homepage or 2 links off an authoritative page. This is sitemap. So I always like to have the sitemap with list all the pages. I know you can do an XML sitemap for getting indexed by Google, but I also like to have an HTML sitemap on the websites that's 2 links off any authoritative page. So I go homepage, sitemap, to any page on my site, right? So that it's just helpful. And most law firm websites don't have huge number. Some people have thousands of pages, but most don't have that many. This is actually helpful to you in terms of keeping, sitemaps on every page. It keeps you within a couple links of every page. It helps all your internal pages. The other thing you do is you can build up your own sort of authoritative pages within your site by producing content, right? So I have a criminal law page. I could have drug and property crimes. I could add some types of drug crimes, some types of property crimes, shoplifting, auto theft. And when I do that, these 2 subsections, when I first make it, or 2 subpages, drug crimes, property crimes, produce some value to the criminal law one because they're sort of subpages of it and they're cross-linking up to it. Somewhere I can add more subpages and they add value and then make these more valuable. And what I've done is I'm sort of creating an authority page within my own website using my own content. So a lot of people think you always have to get outside links to get authoritative pages. That's not true. You can create them within your own site. Make sure Google has an idea what your structure is. You can use schema markup on your breadcrumbs. You can use, different folder structure. Just something so Google understands the structure of your site. And you can actually create your own authoritative pages, and then you can use those authoritative pages to lift up other pages on your site that you want to help lift up by putting some text within it. So very straightforward. Higher authority pages, a link within those, more valuable. Links on the page itself. So here's a page. A lot of people go, okay, well, we got all these links. All links are equal. Well, except they aren't, right? They aren't. So what Google will tend to do, they'll go through it, a page, and they really try to find out where is the unique content of the page, and they value those links separately or more valuable. So here I've got the header. Okay, great. Header's the same on every page. Those links are going to get discounted out. I'm not saying those links aren't valuable, because those links on Justia are probably on 100 million pages, right? I mean, it's a lot of pages. But on this particular page, if I remove those links, nothing would happen. Virtually worthless in terms of that, and really not that valuable. It's just not, doesn't matter that much in terms of Google's not going to value it. They know it's part of the overall structure of the site. This sidebar is just in the adoption section of our site, right? It's a specialized sidebar. More valuable than the header, these links, but not super valuable because they're on lots of pages. So are they, is it nice to have them on lots of pages? Sure. But are any particular links here going to have as much value as a link within the text? No, not going to be as valuable. The links that are most valuable for you are links within the text. And a lot of law firms don't do this on their website. You should add some links within your text content, right? And my general rule is every 150 to 250 words, put a link from your page, from one of your content pages over to another content page. Again, with all the other rules, make sure it's not using the same text for different pages. Ideally, to different pages. It's better to have slightly links to different pages throughout your site, not keep linking to the same page over and over again. But these are the most valuable links. Is the actual links within the text itself. And here's our footer. Again, these are like the header. These will be discounted out. So Google's really going to go through it and say, where should I put the most valuable links? These are the links within the actual unique text up here. Those are the most valuable. This other stuff, it's more of the structure of the site. Still value in them, but there's lots of them. They're not going to get as much focus on this particular page. In general, links within text get more focus, right? Also, this is link, right? You're not going to get as many associated words around it. Link within text, you get the surrounding text credit. All right, so just another thing to note, here's a criminal law page. I have a link here, 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 okay? 5 links here. So I have quite a few links on this page, which is fine. It's not crazy. In general, links higher on the content of the page are worth more than links that are lower in general. I wouldn't worry about that though if I was putting links within my content, because you guys probably aren't going to put enough links that really matters. It just doesn't matter that much. So I wouldn't overly worry about it. But if I had to put a little bit of measuring, I'd try to put I really wanted to get some link be higher, you put a little higher on the page. Got to make sure it matches up, and you have to rewrite your content slightly to have it there, but you could do it. It's worth a little bit more than the other links. But again, I don't worry about it too much. It's not like drastically more. There is one place though, there might be an exception, and that is on the sitemap. So the sitemap is linked on every single page, and some of these sitemaps for some of these firms, might be your law firm, might have a few thousand pages here. And at some point, Google looks at the lower links and they're really starting to get discounted out, even though they're on the sitemap, they're not linked everywhere. They really just get a lot of links on this one page. If that's the case, you might want to move up to the top the pages you care more about on your sitemap. In a way, you're thinking of it like when you do a Google XML sitemap to Google's Search Console. You try to put weights on the pages that are more important to you to make sure they get indexed more. In a way, the pages on your sitemap, Google will see them a little bit, put the more important ones up at the top. Most law firms, this doesn't matter. Law firms, they have lots of pages. It might matter a little bit. And I have seen situations where I moved something up a little bit on the sitemap and it did lift up that area. So having seen that, this might be a situation where you want to do it if you have lots of pages. If you have 50 pages, I wouldn't worry about it for a second. If you have 2,000 pages, yeah, maybe you want to bring up your core practice areas up to the top versus all the sub pages underneath the core when you're sort of presenting it, or just double it up a bit. That's fine too. If you're trying to focus on 20 or 30 pages, you really want to make sure Google sort of sees a little bit higher, gets a more page rank too. Okay, so that's trusted, high quality sites. There's legal sites and pages. That's important. All right, a little bit about links and sandbox stuff. Links per site, authority pages. Pretty obvious stuff. Nothing crazy here. Subfolders, subdomains, and separate domains. This will be the last sort of core section we'll cover, but I'll sort of walk through this. So this is really, a lot of this is on blogs, but I'm also going to show an example for websites. So for blogs, some folks have their blogs on separate domains, right? It's Hotelware, it's Jim Butler. And they also have Hospitality Group at Jeffrey Mangels. And if I went through and did a search on Hotelware, I'm going to match up the blog, but the blog ranks well for lots of things. Blog is first, JMBM second, right? So both rank. They're separate domains. You tend to get 2 bites at the apple, especially when the content's really good, like with Jim stuff. Okay, that's good. Here's another example. James Novak, criminal lawyer in Arizona. He's got a subdomain for his blog. And you go through here and he's ranking pretty well, right? He's got a subdomain, but the main site's ranking well. The subdomain's not ranking because it's sort of tied in for this particular search. Here's one, a criminal lawyer. And here's one that's a subfolder blog. And also ranking well, Dale's divorce, doing quite well on it. So you can do a separate domain, subdomain, or a subfolder, and all of them, your site can rank well. If you really wanted to try to get 2 bites at the apple, you're pretty much going to need to run your blog on a separate domain. But there are some other reasons that you might want to have a separate domain for your blog or a subdomain. And we did a blog post on that. I'm not going to run through all the details of it, but there's some content issues. There's some, I'm going to talk a little bit about the linking issues right now. But there's a number of issues. You should go read our blog post about it, and we talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. The main point that I would like to bring out, though, is that if it's a subfolder or a subdomain, and you're cross-linking those, you're cross-linking your subdomains in particular, they'll be treated the same as a subfolder. With the exception that if your content is for some reason not good on one or the other, the bad content won't impact the other site. So by that, I mean, let's say you have a blog, it's not that great of a blog, the quality of the posts aren't that great. You're almost better off having that on a subdomain, so those bad quality posts don't actually accidentally hurt your main website. We've had lots of people that brought low quality blogs into their website and their website tanked because they brought in low quality posts. A lot of that was the posts themselves. If you write high quality posts, not really an issue on it. But normally subfolders and subdomains are pretty much treated the same. If you cross-link them. If you don't cross-link them, they're treated as separate sites. It'd be like Blogspot or WordPress.com. There's lots of sites. Just because you're on WordPress.com doesn't mean you're going to rank. But on your own site, your own law firm website, if you run a subdomain and you cross-link it, you'll be fine on that. So normally, on the cross-link part here, I just want to quickly run through that. If you run a subdomain or a subfolder, you put links into this website, and you have links coming into the blog from third parties, and maybe you have some places that link to both, right? When you do cross links, you will, from the blog, especially over to the site, you'll get some value for those links, even if it's on the same domain, right? This is true with all your web pages. So we just covered this, right? Do some cross links within the content, and you'll get some value of those. And of course, you cross link the 2 home pages, especially if it's a subdomain, to make sure they're attached, right? Which is fine. You'll get some value from that. But if you're on different domains and you have the same situation, and you can cross-link the home pages there, you'll get much better cross-linking value to your internal pages by using a separate domain with your blog. And that is always, even though Google will realize they're related, they'll realize that this blog is somehow related to this website. The fact it's a separate domain with separate links tends to help it a bit. Most of our clients that do the best tend to have domains for their blog, have their blogs on separate domains. That said, it is now harder to get linked up, get blogs linked up than it used to be. A lot of the blog directories have gone away. And there's a little bit of a correlation in terms of quality. People that write separate blogs on separate domains tend to have higher quality blogs. I mean, the people that just do it for SEO and think they're going to get links into a subfolder blog, they tend to be lower quality. But that's more of a content quality issue on that. So anyways, you should think about this a little bit, but if you have a blog and it's already got some decent strength to it, I would use the blog to cross-link into the internal pages of the website, as long as the blog's high quality, before I necessarily moved it in. That said, technically, for us, it doesn't matter. It's fine technically either way. And then I would do a subfolder blog, probably if I was brand new, my website was brand new, my site was brand new. I think that would probably be better. You gotta get something moving, or a subdomain blog, either one. Or if I'm not gonna blog very often. If I'm not gonna blog very often, I definitely do a subfolder blog because that's just an article section. You don't have the same pressure on you to blog a lot. But the idea that subfolders somehow lead to better results than like subdomains, simply not true. Subdomains do exactly the same as long as you cross-link them. And I really feel like if you're able to properly do it and make a good blog and a good site, you'll actually get your maximum value by having a blog on a separate domain, whether it's through us or like LexBlog or anything. A lot of the other law firms do that. So, but again, there's different positives and negatives. You can sort of read through it on that blog post that we wrote. And then I just want to show a quick example. Here's a website. Here's on subdomains. Here's family lawyer. Here's criminal defense. Here's estate planning. And here's the injury one. And again, subdomains can also do well, provided you cross-link them on the site here. So you could have multiple sites for your practice if you have different practice areas. So let's say your probate folks might not want to see that you do criminal law, right? They don't want to see it. So you could actually break out and get focused sites, and you could still rank well. But again, cross-link them if they're subdomains here in the footer. And sort of each of these are links. This is on the family law one, which is why you don't see the word family here. And then, here's just give you an idea of ranking. I have to mouse down to get through all the ads. But he ranks well for family lawyer. And here we go for criminal. I got mouse down a little bit to get to the organic. Ranks well for criminal. And estate probate ranks well. All right. The key though is he cross-linked the subdomains. So subdomains, again, on websites can be valuable to you. If you cross-link them, you do the linking part there. So your core domain gets shared among the others. And that gives you can sort of focus your subdomain on a particular practice area. You could do the same in a subfolder as well. It's not the end of the world if you did it within the subfolder of your site or a subsection of your site. But sometimes there's marketing reasons, criminal and probate. If I'm going for a probate lawyer, I don't need to know that he's doing a DUI defense. I mean, it's just not really what I'm focused on. So anyways, those are the one thing I want to bring up about subdomains. They can work out quite well, but you've got to do on the linking part, you got to do your cross-linking so you tie in the domain value to all the different subdomains. If you don't do that, yeah, it will be like Blogspot or WordPress, and fine, but it's a brand new, it's like seen as a separate site by Google.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos. See you in our next video.